Hello everyone, once again, welcome over. This is Ide from the Welcome Connected Inc. Village. Anyhow, starting from now, we are going to tackle the remote workflow creative. That's the topic. So we are going to invite over people from the Studio Khara. In that sense, this is going to be quite special. We have invited over the guests from the company Studio Khara, and shall we invite over Suzuki-san of the Khara? Let me invite Suzuki-san. Here we have members of Studio Khara with us.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Suzuki from Studio Khara, and it's a great honor to be invited to this event. As was explained by Wakon earlier, I'm going to speak a little bit at the very beginning, and then we are going to have a panel discussion with Kobayashi-san and Okano-san of Studio Khara. I'm very much looking forward to this session. New remote creative by Studio Khara. We've been speaking about this under a similar topic in different locations, and we're currently conducting remote creative, which I want to briefly talk about today. So, as you saw at the very beginning, COVID-19 has not subsided yet. And yet the fact that we're able to hold this event is thanks to all the staff members and also the medical experts. And I want to thank everyone who've made today possible. We still have to brace ourselves, but with remote creative, we should be able to cater to any urgent needs with COVID or any similar situations. So the introduction of our work, I don't think I need to cover much, but Khara as a company was established in 2009, and Ano Hideaki, who is the director and producer, is the representative director of the company. And we make and produce movies. So this started in March, and it's already available on Amazon Prime. So I hope you would take a look at it. So just by showing this logo, I think you can get a hint of what I'm talking about. But 2020, last year, we're still under the influence of COVID-19, but back in 2020 we were at a height of it, and basically we were told not to come to the office, not for people to come together in groupings, and it was during the height of us creating this movie that the emergency declaration was issued. So we had to think of a way to work remotely. And unless we work digitally, we will not be able to create remotely. So online and server network infrastructure at Carla, we had those capabilities, but we had to introduce new systems and also workflows to make remote creative possible, to not stop our creative work. And what I've drawn here is common sense, I think, introducing new tools and flows and policies, and we wanted to deliver our creative to the consumers. Quite modern tools have been introduced, and we also used conventional tools so that we can work remotely. And today we are at Wacom's event. What is drawing had to do with remote work? So what I wanted to express why this is the ICT network. This is 5G, the fastest communication network, 5G, and use the LCD tablet to draw pictures, for drawing, and at very high speed, without any latency, being able to draw pictures. So this is being done in collaboration with many companies. Together with Splashtop and Wacom. This time around, we're working together and collaborating on this front. I think we have been able to come to a good level of drawing. And there are booths at the back of the room, so if you're interested, please stop by our booth and try it out yourself. That will be all for me. And with that, I want to start the panel discussion. Suzuki-san, thank you very much for that. Thank you, Suzuki-san. With full respect, I have the first Evangelion T-shirt. And Kobayashi-san from Studio Khara, could you also join us on stage? And members from Wacom, Masada-san and Kato-san. Thank you all for joining us today. So it's the three of us, or five of us, who are going to be talking about this topic. Please take a seat. That's a great T-shirt. Yes. I was thinking of wearing this T-shirt throughout the day, but I decided just to wear for this session. Evangelion Unit 01, number 1. I was watching from the seat, and I felt tremors, and my mind was all blank. I'm feeling that risk. I have to calm down. I definitely have to calm down. Suzuki-san, Kobayashi-san, you are legendary. Studio Khara technology is all up to you. And Kobayashi-san, you're also a legendary person, leading the digital technology front at Studio Khara. And Asada-san and Kato-san, you are legendary staff members of Wacom. Oh yes, I suppose we are. So, as we heard from Suzuki-san, the Shin Evangelion was created right under the COVID-19, and I think many of us watched the making of Evangelion on NHK. Can you describe to us how it was in creating? Well, from a system perspective, there were concerns of a pandemic. If all of us showed up in the office, so we had to reduce the number of people coming up and showing up at the office, and we had to introduce, remote work there wasn't much of a refusal, objection against people showing up in the office because there was risk in coming to the office. Oh, I'm sure there must have been a choice that you had to make in order to continue working on Shin Evangelion. You had to take that choice of working remotely. Yes, definitely. And Kobayashi-san, you created the digital side of it, and how did you make that decision to work remotely? Well, I was at a total loss at first. In terms of the work, we had a very tight schedule already, and everyone was working on their own computer, with a tablet pen. We were all working, and so working remotely, we knew that it is technically possible and feasible, but the question was, how are we going to do with what are we going to do with the tablets? So the input device and having all the right tools in place, and the young people, many young people don't have a PC. We let out those PCs, but I felt that times have changed. So people had to have this right environment at home, and some of the young people didn't have personal computers at home. That's right. So that's how you had to get started. How was it like? Like for Studio Khara, Shin Evangelion is going to be created remotely. Was it like was there a moment where you had to come together and make that announcement? Well, yes, I think there was a time when the senior executives would come together and discuss about it. But the director, Anno-san, in order to keep on working, he wanted us to create a system where we can continue to work. That's what was discussed at the tatami mat room in Studio Khara. Kato-san, you must have seen that. Yes, we went to see it in Studio Khara. That's the tatami mat room where the important decisions were made. Yes, we were honored to be able to see it. We should have sat on that tatami mat. Wasn't that the room that was used for your meeting? No, actually, we used the meeting room next door. I touched on the tatami mat, but that was it. Well, I see. So you decided on the direction going forward, and you pressed forward, I guess. Did you face any challenges and impediments? Maybe technical challenges and creative and productive challenges?
Let me think about that. Well, in terms of the system, well, at the time when we faced COVID-19, of course, it's not that we had remote work available to all the employees, even though some actually was engaged in the remote work. So we didn't get to take time to look for the good tools that we should use. We had a consultation with the industry people, including Kobayashi, and amongst the tools available, we decided to adopt the splash top that I've touched upon, and we had no issue using it. Therefore, in that sense, system-wise, we didn't face much of the trouble, but the creative side had much of a difficulty, I guess. I would say so too, but selection of the software, I had consulted with Suzuki-san, and we were able to move around quite early, including machines and also additional tablets we needed to introduce. Well, because we could do these things smoothly, so relatively speaking, we were able to shift over to the new structure, including directors. We were able to shift over to the new structure. So you were able to move preemptively. Right. At that timing, immediately, all of us in the industry were wondering what we should do. Well, lots of information was circulated within our industry, but we decided we made a decision quite early. That sounds cool. But back in the day, actually, Asada-san, right? We had cooperated with them with the tablets, right? Yeah. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you very much indeed. And then that's the reason why you had our name posted on the ending row of that movie. Right. The Wacom members I had to wait until the ending roll because we wanted to see the name of the Wacom with the song of the Hikaru Utada. We had to wait till the end to see our name in the ending roll. Well, anyhow. Well, so you decided to make a move quite early. Well, director Anno had a strong determination to not stop working. He had that direction. And the people at the Gemba frontline also had the same mindset to keep on working. Is that did that act as the base? Yes, that is correct. Actually, we were at the end of the procedure, at the very end. Well, we saw the documentary on NHK, and it was like the war zone, war area. I'd say so. It was quite tough. Yeah. But actually, not many of the things that were happening in the second half were broadcasted. Much more things actually not being seen on TV were happening. Maybe they couldn't show it because they are the public broadcast. But anyhow, because of the COVID-19, we need to shift to the remote, and that was a major event indeed during the process. How we need to respond. I see. Well, Suzuki-san, when you think about all the things that you went through, are there anything in particular that you would like to talk about? Let me see. It was back in the day when they started the procedure of creating that new Evangelion movie. That was the time when I joined the company, and I started to work on improvement of the system in a full-fledged way. And what I felt back then was that they were not really hesitant against digitalization compared to what I had expected. Actually, I need to go through coordination and so on to do everything that I wanted, but I didn't feel much of the resistance, which I was very much thankful for. So I didn't feel much of the difficulty that I had to overcome there. They were rather interested in knowing the new technologies. They are quite aggressive in that sense. Yes, I do agree on that point as well. I see. So people are forward-looking. They are interested in looking for the new technology. I see. But I'm sure that you are still working on the new creatives, and I think you wouldn't be able to reveal much about these new works. But anyhow, together with Studio Khara, we are working together. As was mentioned, we are working on a variety of experimental initiatives. What sort of impression do you have about these activities? Well, together with companies, we were having a talk, and that led us to come up with this idea. With the introduction of the remote work, for example, things like the three-dimensional computer graphic, mouse, keyboards, and all these things could be used to do and handle the three-dimensional work, but the drawing and so on, for those, the shifting from the pen and the paper from there to the computer, that was quite difficult. So we were talking about the screen transfer. So the reaction and the texture needed to be reflected, and it had to be transmitted through the telecommunication network. And we were always thinking that if that would be possible, because if we would be able to handle that, then everything would be possible. So anyhow, that's the reason why we decided to look into the screen transfer solution. We are currently working together with the Splashtop, and there are many other companies that we've had a talk with. And We are currently working on a variety of experiments right now. Doing creatives digitally, and you needed to connect the drawing part digitally, and that's the very core essence. If you could do that, then you would be able to make much more progress, right? That is correct. The kind of things which we've never thought of before is now possible. Technology is quite amazing. Well, they praised us. Asada-san, Kato-san. Thank you indeed. So, against that backdrop, we are supporting the experiments being conducted by Kara-san at Wacom, right? Yes. Currently, is this issue of this delay and the latency because of the internet. We are trying to create a tool that would enable us to eliminate the latency. With our unique approach, we are trying to look for the solution right now, and they are currently using it. Amazing. Thank you. Well, I'm very much happy. They just praised us. Yes, thank you. We just came up with this idea from small things. We never understood before that the latency mattered so much. We were able to see that this time. Yes, actually, inside our company, last year, we actually had been working on reducing the latency issue from before. That was pre-COVID. We decided to establish a dedicated team to deal with this issue in the pre-COVID time. We created that solution which you're testing right now. And together with all these people here, with all these members, we are creating the technology. It's great. Well, have you ever thought that this would come into life? Well, as an engineer, I really do like animation, and the fact that I get to support the animation makes me really happy. I'm very much thankful for having this opportunity. It's really mad. Would you please zoom into the T-shirt that both gentlemen are wearing? Project Instant Ink. That's it. That's it. This is it. Was it the name of the team? Right. That's the name that we gave. What was the name? Project team has been established in order to support the creatives, including Studio Khara, in a remote way. Would you please perhaps give us the details, because people who are listening do not know what we are talking about. Perhaps what is Instant Ink? Well, I'll give you 30 seconds.
So what is instant ink? It doesn't use network and to trick the eye of people. How to make people comfortable. It's a technology that makes that possible, and I'm not sure if I was able to explain it right, but I think you did a good job. And it's being used on a trial basis. Kobayashi-san, you said you like it, but what was the sense of using it? I don't know. It was kind of different. I had a sense that I was actually drawing. That sense of drawing was, I guess, stronger. We've done a lot of experiments on remote technology, and it gave me a sense that it was not a remote device. And I asked, where's the machine? And he said that it's 100 kilometers away. I am more involved in directions, but for the creative directors, I really want them to try it out and give feedback. I was impressed with the quality. When you edit, latency could be a problem, I think, but I hope you could try that out. Yes, we're watching that very closely, not just the drawing for the production, but when you edit or when you give instructions, I guess a lot of that work will be done remotely as well. Oh, yes. There will be an edit studio, and the directors and all other staff members would come together and watch the visuals together. But and going forward, I guess there will be a time when people will actually physically come together. But even from a remote location, if a very high resolution image could be seen from a remote location and be able to make changes in red ink, and if it will be possible without any delays or latency, that would be really ideal. And I think that will reduce the stress of the directors, even if the director doesn't have to come to that studio. Directors could be in a remote location in Japan or maybe in other parts of the world, like the United States. And so even from a remote location, beyond time, beyond space. At Studio Khara, you won't get angry and throw things at others. Oh, yeah, that doesn't happen with us. We're more calm. But instead of entering the words, we tend to directly write it and draw it directly, but when it comes to what the device is and what the system is, that doesn't make things happen very simply. But if something can be accessed directly, I think that will be very helpful, especially for the creators like ourselves. Technology that will support you real time, I guess, is what you're looking for. Oh, this is very, very inspiring. We're going to continue with this experiment. And Suzuki-san, your ideas, your roadmaps, if you could share with us. Oh, actually, yes, I do. Maybe we can put this off the record where actually this is being streamed to 4,000 people. So, drawing, I think, has the highest hurdle. But in doing digital work or 3D CG, there's a lot of different hurdles that we have to overcome. Large, massive amount of data or 3D modeling to be rendered and so forth. Now it takes a lot of time to get a visual out. But changing our mindset to be able to we're trying to come up with new ideas on how more quickly we can get the visuals up on the screen. I think we should do an Instagram live separately from this over drinks. I think it's going to get very tricky if we're going to speak over alcohol. Or 5G, I think you're focusing on 5G. What are you expecting? What are your expectations on 5G? I think I referred to a couple of company names earlier, but when it comes to telecommunication technology, maybe I shouldn't talk about the specific company. But it's a logo, so it's NTT Docomo, and so we've been given a green light. So NTT Docomo, and this is in response to your question on 5G. We've been doing a couple of POCs together, close to antennas, high frequency, high broadband, and low latency. We were able to see that impact, and we are looking very much forward to it. So because it's so fast, I would want to have an antenna at home. Oh yes, I would want that at home. if you experience it, it's almost like a local machine. Local machine.
ドコモさん早く
NTT Docomo, please,
いただければと思います。
if you
まずは鈴木さんの
could
ご自宅に
develop it quickly and make one available at home at Suzuki-san's home.
ちょっと
Time's flying.
ね
Time
じゃあちょっ
flies.
と最後鈴木さんと
I
小
guess
林
we
さんから
have
じゃあ
to wrap
この
up,
僕らの
but Suzuki-san and
次の一歩に
Kobayashi-san,
何か
if you
短い一言
could
ずつね
say a few words for our next steps.
はい
Let me start.
僕自身がクリエイターじゃなくてエンジニア
As for me, I am not a creator, I'm an engineer.
関われることはないんですけ
So
ども
there's nothing that I can do to get directly involved in the creation, but the question of how I can improve the working environment for the creators, I'm able to do that together with Wacom, and I'm very happy about that. I'm able to offer a very good environment or even better environment for the creators, and if there are any better opportunities going forward, I definitely would like to work with you. Kobayashi-san,
でもやっぱり
how
我
about you?
々もまあデジタル
Well,
制作環境になってからは
ever since we moved to digital creative, we're using the tablets, and we've been creating this environment together with Wacom. That's how I see it. So going forward, I hope you will come back with a good device, and if you could offer that to us, we finally will be able to create it. It's a foundational infrastructure for us. So we're looking forward to it.
ね
You're bringing tears to my eyes.
鈴木さん、小林さん、
鈴木さん、小林さん、
全員ねチームで共有して
We're definitely going to share those words with the team members, and we will give our best to support you.
じゃあ本当に今日はですねスタジオカラーさん
So Studio Khara, the legendary Suzuki-san and Kobayashi-san was here with us, and we talked about remote creative.
僕ら頑張っていきますんで
We will do what we
よろしくお願いし
can
ます
and
ありがとうございます
we'll
どうもありがとうございます
do our best to support you. Thank you all very
鈴木さん
much for joining
ありがとうございま
us
す
today. Suzuki-san, Kobayashi-san, thank you very much.